If someone comes through your door at 2 in the morning, the receipt won't save you. The background check won't save you. And the permit folded in your kitchen drawer will not save you either. A burglary happens in this country roughly every 15 seconds. Most of them happen while someone is home, and the average person has nothing inside arm's reach that actually works when it counts. No permit, no paperwork, no 4 to 6 week wait. These are 10 home defense weapons Amazon still ships straight to your door. No license required. And every single one of them exists because of a gap in how the federal government defines the word firearm. Number 1 is the most powerful production air rifle on the planet. Let's start at number 10. Number 10, the Cold Steel Trench Hawk. Here's what most people get wrong about home defense. They spend $600 on something that needs a battery, a charge, a cartridge, or a trigger. Every one of those is a thing that can fail you at the exact worst second. This cannot fail. It is a Hatchet, drop forged head, polypropylene handle, about 19 inches, roughly $30. And here's the part the Prepper Channel skipped. This was never designed as a weapon. It's a camp tool. That is precisely why it is legal in all 50 states, why it ships next day, and why nobody at any agency has ever written a single line of regulation about it. The government does not track hatchets. Now picture it beside your bed at 2 in the morning, no battery, no reload, no jam, nothing to forget. Cold Steel sells these by the pallet to campers, and that ordinary tool status is the whole reason it clears every filter Amazon has. It is the most primitive thing on this entire list. It may also be the only one that works every time you reach for it, but a hatchet only reaches as far as your arm. Everything after this reaches farther. Number 9, the VaporTech VTS 989. This is the best-selling self-defense device on Amazon. It costs about what you'd spend on a large pizza, and I want you to look very hard at the number printed on the box, because that number is a lie. One listing says 53 million volts, another says 990 million, a third says 1 billion. Same device, different numbers. Here's the truth nobody selling these will tell you. None of those figures are real. There is no testing body. There is no standard. The number is decoration. Now here's what is real. 6.5 inches, half a pound. Recharges from a wall socket. LED light on the front. Sharpened spike electrodes designed to bite through a winter coat. And a grab guard so if he takes hold of it, the metal strips down the side, shock him too. But do not miss what this actually is. It only works pressed against a body, which means he is already on top of you. One more thing the listing will not tell you. Every one of these runs on a lithium cell that loses roughly 20% of its charge sitting in a drawer for 6 months. The device that has been in your nightstand since last spring is not at full power tonight. It is banned outright in Hawaii, Massachusetts, Rhode Island, and Washington, D.C. Buy it as a backup. Never buy it as your plan, because the next one works before he ever reaches you. Number 8, Saber Red Pepper Gel. Standard pepper spray has a problem nobody advertises. It aerosolizes, which means in a hallway, in a stairwell, in any enclosed room in your house, you are going to breathe your own weapon. You will be on the floor next to him. Gel does not do that. It is a thickened stream. It travels about 18 feet. It sticks where it lands, and it does not hang in the air behind it. Roughly $12. Runs about 25 bursts. Shelf life of 4 years. And yes, it does expire. Most people are carrying a canister that stopped working years ago. And here is the number almost nobody checks. Saber tests every batch for capsaicinoid content, which is the thing that actually causes the effect. Most competing brands publish a Scoville number instead, which measures the pepper before it goes in the can and tells you nothing about what comes out of it. Here's the classification part. Pepper gel is regulated as a consumer chemical product, not a weapon. That is the entire reason it clears Amazon's filters when a firearm cannot. There is no federal restriction. There are state ones. New York restricts purchase to in-state licensed dealers, and Massachusetts has its own rules. Check your state before you check out. That sentence is going to come up again. 18 feet is a hallway. The next one crosses a room. Number 7, the Mace brand Pepper Gun 2.0. Same chemistry as number 8, completely different delivery. This is a pressurized launcher with a trigger, a grip, and and a strobe LED built into the frame. It throws a gel stream about 25 feet. It carries 7 bursts per cartridge, and the cartridges swap in about 3 seconds, which no aerosol can on earth will do, around $55. Their refill packs run about $15. And here's the detail that matters more than the range. It comes with a water-filled practice cartridge. You can actually drill with this thing in your backyard. Ask yourself honestly how many people who own a defensive tool have ever fired it even once. This is the rare one where you can. Here is what most buyers get wrong about this category. They test it once in the driveway, watch it work, and put it away for 4 years. Gel canisters lose pressure. The propellant is the part that fails, not the payload, and a canister that will not spray is indistinguishable from an empty hand. The strobe is not a gimmick either. In a dark room, it takes his night vision before the gel ever lands. Still a chemical product, still no permit, still ships to your door, but 25 feet is one room. Number 6 covers the whole floor. Number 6, the Burna SD. This is where the category stops being a keychain item and starts being a serious piece of equipment. The Burna SD is a CO2 powered launcher that fires .68 caliber rounds, kinetic chemical irritant or inert practice at about 300 feet per second out to 60 feet. It holds 5 rounds. It weighs about a pound. It runs on 8 gram CO2 cartridges you can buy anywhere, roughly $400. And yes, that is real money for something that is not a firearm. So here is why people buy it anyway. The ATF does not classify a compressed gas launcher as a firearm, not a rifle, not a handgun, not any other weapon. It is legally a piece of sporting equipment. No Form 4473, no background check, no transfer, no serial number in a federal system. It arrives in a cardboard box like a pair of boots. That is not a loophole somebody discovered. That is written into the definition. A firearm expels a projectile by the action of an explosive. Compressed air is not an explosive. The entire category on the back half of this list exists inside that one sentence. Burna will not ship the chemical rounds into a handful of jurisdictions, and a few states have moved on the launchers themselves. Check yours. 60 feet gets you across a house. Number 5 gets you across the yard. Number 5, the P2P HDX 68. Take everything about number 6 and put it in a pump action shotgun frame. The HDX 68 fires the same .68 caliber rounds, holds 16 of them in the magazine, and racks exactly like a 12 gauge, effective to around 100 feet. And here's the part that has nothing to do with ballistics. Every person on earth knows what a pump action shotgun sounds like. That sound has ended more confrontations than most of what's on this list. You are getting a genuine psychological deterrent from a device that is federally a toy. About $300. Runs on 12 gram CO2. It also holds more rounds than anything before it on this list, and that matters more than the number suggests. Under real stress, people do not fire once and assess. They fire until the threat stops. 5 rounds sounds like plenty until you have missed with 3 of them. It is also the first item on this list that looks like a firearm at a distance, and that cuts both ways. Understand very clearly how that reads to a responding officer at 3 in the morning. 100 feet is your property line. Number 4, the Pepperball VKS. This one is not built for consumers. It is built for law enforcement, and it is sold to you anyway. The VKS is a magazine-fed launcher that reaches roughly 150 feet accurately. It runs on compressed air, feeds from a 13-round magazine, and fires Pepperball's live rounds, which carry a significantly hotter irritant payload than the consumer .68 rounds in number 5. It runs around $600. And here's what nobody tells you about the range number. 150 feet is farther than you will ever legally shoot at anybody. Nobody is defending a home at 50 yards. What that range actually buys you is accuracy at 20 feet, because a tool built to reach 150 is extremely precise at the distance you will actually use. That is the real reason to own it, and it is not the reason it's advertised. One more thing worth knowing. Pepperball sells 2 grades of round, and the consumer listings do not always make it obvious which you are buying. The live rounds carry the payload that agencies actually deploy. The inert rounds are practice only. People order the cheaper box, never read the label, and load their home defense launcher with what amounts to chalk. Still compressed gas, still not a firearm, still ships, but every single thing to this point has been designed to make a person stop. Number 3 was not. Number 3, the Umarex Air Javelin Pro. This is where the list changes character, and I want you to be be honest with yourself about that. The Air Javelin Pro is an air-powered arrow gun. It launches a full-length arrow at roughly 370 feet per second using a regulated high-pressure air tank. That is faster than a great many compound bows out of something that requires no draw weight, no strength, and no skill to cock. Around $400. Here's the classification. It is an air gun, not a firearm, not a bow, and in most states not covered by archery regulation either, because archery law is generally written around draw weight, and this has none. It sits in a genuine gap, not a clever reading of the rules, an actual absence of them. So understand what you are holding. Everything before this was designed to stop somebody. An arrow at 370 feet per second is not a less lethal tool, and nobody should pretend otherwise. This is a hunting implement. If you buy it understanding it belongs to the same legal and moral category as a rifle, whatever the paperwork says. Which brings us to the last two, because those do not pretend at all. Number 2, the Umerix Hammer Carbine, 50 caliber. Do not let the words air rifle put a backyard toy in your head, because this fires an actual 50 caliber lead slug. It is the shorter, lighter version of Umerix's big bore hammer, built for tight spaces and fast handling. It launches a 350 grain slug at around 820 feet per second. That works out to roughly 520 foot-pounds of energy. You get 4 full power regulated shots on a single fill. In plain terms, this compact air rifle lands in the same neighborhood as a great many traditional handgun cartridges, and it does it on nothing but compressed air, no powder, no serial number transfer, no paperwork at a counter, because there is no counter. The trade-off is the feel. This runs on a high-pressure air tank, and you will need either a hand pump or a compressor to charge it. That is a real cost most reviews skip past, and it is the reason a lot of these end up in closets after one afternoon. It looks like a personal defense weapon. It handles like one, and it arrives on your porch in a box, but it is still the little brother, because number 1 is the most powerful production air rifle on planet Earth, and it is not close. Number 1, the Umerix Hammer 50 caliber. This is it. The rifle serious hunters use to ethically take wild boar, deer, and elk, sold on the same website you order dish soap from. The hammer drives a 550 grain 50 caliber lead slug out of the barrel at around 760 feet per second and produces roughly 700 foot-pounds of energy at the muzzle. Read that number again. 700 foot-pounds. That is more raw energy than a great many centerfire handgun rounds out of a rifle that runs on high-pressure air. It is built in Fort Smith, Arkansas. It gives you 3 full-power shots plus a follow-up, and Umerix calls it accurately the most powerful production air rifle in the world. There is a limit worth stating plainly. You get 3 full-power shots, not 30. This is not a weapon you spray with, and anybody selling it to you as one is selling you something else. Now here is the part that makes all of it real. Because the hammer is driven by compressed air and not by gunpowder, the ATF does not legally classify it as a firearm. No background check, no transfer, no permit. Serious stopping power delivered to your front door in most states, with 0 federal paperwork standing between you and protecting your family. That is not a toy. That is a statement about how the rules were written. So let's run it back, top to bottom. Number 1, the Umerix Hammer 50, the most powerful production air rifle on earth. Number 2, the Hammer Carbine, that same 50 caliber punch in a compact frame. Number 3, the Air Javelin Pro, an arrow at 370 feet per second. Number 4, the Pepper Ball V-Case, the police launcher that reaches 150 feet. Number 5, the P2P HDX 68, 16 rounds and a sound everybody understands. Number 6, the Byrna SD, 60 feet, no permit, no background check. Number 7, the Mace Pepper Gun, 25 feet, and you can actually practice with it. Number 8, Saber Red Gel, 18 feet, and it will not blow back on you. Number 9, the Vipertech, your backup, and nothing more than that. And number 10, a $30 hatchet that never jams, never runs dry, and never needs charging. Here are the 4 rules that separate the prepared from the wishful. Rule 1, buy for the distance you actually have. Arm's reach and across the yard are 2 different problems. Own one thing for each. Rule 2, check your state and your city before you check out, not after. The wrong shipping address turns a legal purchase into a return package or into something considerably worse than a return package. Rule 3, stopping power you cannot deploy is worth nothing at all. Whatever you buy, Drill with it until it is muscle memory in the dark, half asleep, with your heart going. Most people never do this. It is the entire difference. And check it again every year. 3 states change their rules on at least one item in this video in the last 18 months alone. Rule 4, layer it. Something for arm's reach, something for the room, something for the property line. One tool is a gamble, a system is a plan, and every one of these ships to most of the country while the door is still open. None of this is a loophole somebody is exploiting. It is what the definitions actually say. Definitions get rewritten. When that happens, it happens quietly and it happens without notice. You are already ahead of most people just for having thought this far ahead. So finish the job. Subscribe so the next breakdown reaches you before the rules change instead of after. And if this was worth your time, YouTube thinks you'll want the one on your screen right now. Go watch it.